Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call the Senate Local Government Committee to order. Clerk, if you'll take the roll. Vote yea if you're here.
You have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Chad. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a lot of bills on the docket today. We've got 32 bills. We're going to try to deal with the ones that are identical. First, we do have a little bit of housekeeping. Let's see. Delegate Campbell has requested that HB 1450 go by for the day. He wants to come back next week, I guess, when we're all not in a very good mood. So do I have a motion to carry that over for a day? And a second? Second. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? And that bill is carried over for the day. Now, we've got identical bills that have already passed out of this committee. I will go through those. The first ones that we're going to do are the unanimous bills, and what I'll do is I'll identify those on your docket. If you so move, we can take it up as a block, and that way we can get people out of here as quickly as possible who have so much more to do over there in the House. And so HB 283, patron was McQuinn, was identical to Senate Bill 356 of McClellan. That breezed out of here 12-0. Then there was HB 295 was not unanimous. Then there was HB 316, Delegate Jones. That was a charter bill, similar and identical to Senate Bill 256 of Lewis. That breezed out of here 13-0. HB 340, Delegate LaRocque, identical to Senate Bill 92, which was Senator Black. Left out of here 13-0. Delegate Hodges, who had this incredible comprehensive plan for solar facilities, identical to Senate Bill 179, Senator Stanley.
What's the number?
Oh, HB 509.
PBI.
Pardon me. Yeah, PBI. Easy. HB 548, Senator Freitas. Hey, look, he answered to Senator Freitas. Ha! Gotcha! All right, and he's already, and see, here's the great thing. He wants to talk, and we're about to pass his bill without ever having to say a word. Thank you, Senator. Paid for and authorized by Nick Freitas for U.S. Senate. All right, Senator Freitas had HB 548, which was identical to Senator Bryce Reeves' Senate Bill 477, passed out of here 13-0. 594. Let's see. HB 671, Delegate Kilgore was identical to Senate Bill 383, Chafin. That passed out of here 13-0. We'll then go to, all right, HB 756, Delegate Leftwich was identical to Senate Bill 127 of Senator Cosgrove. That breezed out of here 12-0. Let's see. HB 1240, Delegate Klein. Charter bills identical to Senate Bill 871 of Senator Peaks. Breezed out of here 13-0. HB 1399, Delegate Wilt, identical to SB 546 of Senator Obenshains. Also left out of here 13-0. Wilt's was none other. Let's see. And that takes care of that, does it, DB? Have I missed one? What about 1179? Was that? Okay. All right. Hi, Emma. How you doing? All right, ladies and gentlemen, do I have a... Oh, are you?
She's watching them.
Oh, she's watching on TV? He didn't eat very well at lunch today. He was eating bad food, ma'am. Can I get a motion to put that roll that all together in a block?
You got it. You're going to do 1166 as well?
All right, and see 1166. That's similar but not identical. Collins Charter Bill, front row. There are two changes, so we cannot take that up in a block, Senator Staff. All right, do I have a motion to take this all up in a block?
Second.
Motion being made, properly seconded. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, clerk, open the roll.
12 ayes, 0 nays.
12 ayes, 0 nays. All those bills, House bills in a block, have passed out of this committee and will be heard in a block probably on the floor of the Senate. So any patrons who are here that's had your bills taken care of, that's it. Now, let's deal with Delegate Hodges. Delegate Hodges had, I think, two go out of the block. Two. All right.
The block, 508 and 509, those run the block, correct?
Yes, sir. I
And then we
think.
have three more.
Did 509 go out in the block?
Have-
508 did not go on a block.
Oh, that's right.
because
You were gonna
We have
perform.
actually 508. 509 went out in the block. 508, if you don't mind taking up, that's similar, almost identical to my Senate Bill 429, came out of here 12-0-1.
Sure, I believe it's
We have a line
identical,
amendment.
except you have 509, 508.
508's gone. 50.
509. For the line amendment, or was this to
Yeah.
conform?
509's gone. 508 needs a line amendment.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Dear
Pardon me.
Okay. And you do have an amendment to report, I believe?
We do.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I've actually passed out copies of the line amendment to all the members there. It just conforms it to the Senate bill that was passed.
In a nutshell, can you tell us, DB, what exactly that is?
Yeah.
Just in a.
So it basically strikes out and changes most of the enactment clause. So on line 83, after the date 2019, it just inserts one new sentence that says, unless a locality regulates ground-mounted solar facilities in the provisions of its zoning ordinance as a permitted principal or accessory use, or expressly as a solar facility, a ground-mounted solar energy generation facility existing as of January 1st, 2018 shall be deemed a legally existing non-conforming use under Section 15.2-2307 of the Code of Virginia and shall not be subject to removal.
Okay.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, with that amendment, it's in the same posture as your bill, as it passed the Senate.
Yes, Delegate, and I understand this was an agreement with the stakeholders. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Dix? Okay. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard this bill before with a much more articulate speaker before. Let's move the amendment. Second being made. Any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none. All in favor to adopt the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That amendment is adopted and before us now. Are there any questions of the patron of the bill, since we know basically what this has been, what this bill is, and it's been here before?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we report the bill.
Motion being made to report this bill, House Bill 508. Is there a second? Second being properly made and supported. Is there any discussion on that motion to pass House Bill 508? Hearing none. Clerk, open the roll, please. And close the roll.
12 ayes, 0 nays.
12 ayes, 0 nays. You actually did better than I did. So the 508 passes out. Congratulations on that, sir. All right. I think you were overachieving today, Delegate. What other bills? can we
House
take
Bill
up?
494, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention to the delegate on House Bill 494.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As many of you know, and Senator Hanger, we served together on the Rappahannock River Basin Commission. He's former chair, and I'm the current chair of the commission. And the commission, in partnership with the Department of Forestry, many stakeholders, including state, federal, non-government organizations, localities, they've worked over the last 4 years to demonstrate the cost effectiveness of conservation of existing forest land as a Chesapeake Bay implementation tool to give better water quality to the Chesapeake Bay. Now, these partners successfully quantified the value of retaining forest land in the TMDA model and the potential offset cost savings of forest conservation strategies to local jurisdictions. They collaborated with the localities to identify the policy tools and incentives needed to secure these savings. So the work that they've done over the last 4 years, it contributed to the decision by the Chesapeake Bay Program Principal Staff Committee to approve for the first time ever crediting land conservation as a BMP in the Bay TMDL model. The Chesapeake Bay model will now be adjusted to acknowledge the associated water quality improvement. So better quality at a much lower cost is a benefit to all of us. So The code section currently authorizes localities to require the replacement of trees in the development process in localities with a density of 75 or more persons per square mile. And in the discussions they had with the stakeholders and with the localities, they found in subsection C, if you look down in subsection C, which is lines, it may have changed, it was 30 and 32, where the developers are actually incentivized to maintain the existing tree cover. So in the stakeholder discussions, it led to the recommendations that the authority also be extended in this code section to be available to the Chesapeake Bay watershed localities, so local governing bodies can decide if they wish to access this incentive opportunity. And that's the bill in a nutshell, Mr. Chairman.
Sir,
And
any
have some folks
questions?
that can speak to some of the background and the
Yes, sir.
model if need be.
First, let's see if there are any questions to the patron by the members of the panel. Seeing none, is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of the bill?
Mr. Chairman, Eldon James for the localities in the Middle and Upper Basin, but I also serve as the contract staff person for the River Basin Commission. And working with the Department of Forestry, we conducted over 60 stakeholder meetings to identify strategies that would incentivize lower cost approaches to forest conservation and practices that would improve water quality. This was one of the practices that was identified and came forward as a recommendation to the commission. The chairman has described exactly what this does. It simply takes and expands the authority to a few more localities. It would add 5 more jurisdictions in the Rappahannock Basin that could take advantage of this authority, but it's permissive. I expect that some of the smaller ones will not, but there are some that have identified, such as Caroline County, which would meet the 75 persons per square mile threshold were it not for a little facility called AP Hill that doesn't have any people in it. So they can't exercise this, but yet they have the pressure of fast-growing locality. They wish to be able to incentivize developers to conserve existing forest land. It is a much more cost-effective practice, and hence that's been recognized by the Bay program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Briefly, I think this bill's in great shape.
It's in great shape. Mr. Chairman,
Oh, okay.
members of the committee, this is Peggy Sander, Chesapeake Bay Foundation. I would like first to thank the patron for bringing this bill. We think it's a great bill. It advances the Chesapeake Bay TMDL in a cost-effective way, and as has been said, it does so in a manner that respects localities, so to speak, local option. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your advocacy. Yes, sir. Step right up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Pat Calvert. I'm representing Virginia Conservation Network. We support this bill.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Chris McDonald with the Virginia Association of Counties. For the reasons previously mentioned, we support this bill.
Delegate Hodges, we usually don't have them coming up and saying they like any of these bills here, so you're good.
Okay.
Mr.
Are there any
Chairman.
questions of the patron? Wait a minute. Senator Marsden.
Thank you. Delegate Hodges, great bill, great idea. When we did Beltway construction up in Northern Virginia, we had all kinds of tree planting requirements, and we had the most wonderful, 6 months later, had the most wonderful array of dead trees adorning our roadways up there. Is there any provision in here that, and I'm sorry I didn't look at the bill more closely, but are there any provisions in here for maintaining the trees, planting them, and making sure they have water and that they actually survive?
We did not address that in this bill, Senator. The only thing we did was add Chesapeake Bay localities in this bill, so I would think that would be for a future date if we want to try to address that in another bill.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
Okay?
Any other questions of the patron?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've served with Delegate Hodges with the Rappahannock River Basin Commission, and he's had quite a bit of leadership on that, and I think it's a good bill. I'd like to move it be reported.
Motion being made that this bill be reported, HB 494, and a second being properly supported. Is there any discussion on that? Hearing none, the clerk will open the roll. And close the roll.
13 ayes, 0 nays.
13 ayes, 0 nays. You're on a roll, big guy.
All right.
494 reports out of this. Really, this is a tough committee to get any bills out of.
All right, well, let's
So
see
you're
if we
doing
can
great.
get these next two, and I'll, if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, I'll speak to the next two bills, which will make them hopefully move very quickly.
Yes, sir.
Chesapeake Bay and its tributaries.
Which is this one?
Actually, 1093, let's go with that, and then 1095.
1093.
And I'll give a little bit of background for both of these bills. And
Yes,
as
sir.
Senator Lewis knows, in a district well, the Chesapeake Bay is thousands and thousands of miles, Middle Peninsula is 1,000 miles, Northern Neck 1,100 miles of shoreline, and the Eastern Shore, about 1,100 or 1,200 miles of shoreline. And we literally have hundreds of creeks that for years have been dredged, and dredging has occurred, and the funding for that has come from the federal government through earmarks. And as you know, earmarks are no longer, and Washington is not funding these dredge projects. And what is happening is, as these creeks fill in and as they shoal and fill in, Coast Guard is coming in and they're pulling up these markers. And when you yank up these markers, it really ties the hands for boaters, recreational boaters, for the watermen, for marinas. And it really limits the commerce along the bay. And these creeks are no longer plotted. So the folks going and traveling up and down the bay, guess what? They're not going to come in and buy gas and buy bait and enjoy the beautiful Chesapeake Bay and its tributaries that we know and love. So how do we solve this problem? Well, I have a number of bills. I actually have 5 bills, one of which is just simply adds dredging to the purpose of the Middle Peninsula Chesapeake Bay Access Authority. The Access Authority was created by the General Assembly by Delegate Morgan back in 2002, I believe, in response to address the public access issues to our waterways. This simply adds dredging to the purpose which the Eastern Shore Access Authority already has. So they were one up on us on this one. But we have 51 properties so far. So
All right, very good. Any question of the patron? You guys awake? Motion being made.
Mr.
Is there
Chairman.
anybody who would like to speak? Yes.
Just a quick question for
Senator
the
Chase.
patron.
Senator Chase wants to know if she can outlaw IDAs on this bill.
No, actually, no. I like Delegate Hodges, and I'm sure this is a great bill. But I did have a question as it pertains to the funding mechanism on that, and whether you have elected officials that would be approving the budget.
Yes,
is in.
this Access Authority is fully functional, existing. They actually have 51 properties in their portfolio right now. They are very active. All of that is outlined in the legislation and the requirements for these authorities. They're audited, and they do an excellent job. All of the access authorities do.
Senator Chase? Okay. Any further questions of the patron? Seeing none, I think I heard a motion to report. Is there a second? Second properly supported. Any discussion on that bill? Hearing none, clerk open the roll.
Thirteen ayes, 0 nays.
13 ayes, 0 nays. HB 1093 reports out of this committee, and we're all feeling pretty green right now. Keep going.
All
big guy.
right. Now, to address this issue.
1095.
The 1095, to address this issue along the entire Chesapeake Bay, we looked at creating a separate authority, a dredging authority along the Chesapeake Bay that can travel around and dredge these creeks. And anytime you create a new authority, you have to start from the ground up and build it. And instead of doing that, we started to look at what we already have. So we have the Middle Peninsula Public Access Authority, we have the Eastern Shore, and we have the Northern Neck Access Authority. All this bill does is really bring those 3 access authorities together so they can use their joint forces to solve this problem along the bay and solve this dredging problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions for this delegate on HB 1095? Delegate Favola, Senator Favola.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Delegate Hodges, I'm just curious, will these other authorities, they can, as I understand it, they can collaborate when they wish to, but they're not totally subsumed under one, is that correct?
Correct. They're separate, but they will be allowed to collectively work together to solve this problem, which is what we want. We want collaboration.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Motion being properly made. Report House Bill 1095. Is there a second? Second, properly supported. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, clerk open the roll. And close the roll.
13 ayes, 0 nays.
13 ayes, 0 nays.
Love it,
Hey,
Mr.
House Bill
Chairman.
1095, I mean, you're batting 1,000. You
All
just want
right.
to stay.
I'm going to have to get more bills before this committee next year.
Would
Mr.
any
Chairman.
delegate prefer Delegate Hodges to take their bill for you? See, oh, we've got a lot of takers here.
I'm going out on this one, Mr. Chairman.
Well, you might want to touch him for luck on the way out.
Thank y'all.
All right. Golly, Delegate Kilgore. Okay, now, what I think we can probably do is try to move through the ones we've already heard really quickly. You want me to hold off on yours? You want me to sport yours right there? How about we go through it and I'll come back to you? Okay. All right, so what we're going to do is we've had duplicate bills, but these were not unanimous votes. So what we'll try to do is check those out first, because we shouldn't have to take any testimony on them. We can just work through it. House Bill 594, Delegate Carr. Delegate Carr. Delegate Carr's bill was identical. It was the abatement of criminal blight. I believe I was the only one to vote against it. I'm on the Housing Commission. And basically, that bill just needs to stay the way it is. They sent Senator Dance's bill over to the House and conformed it to hers. Both patrons, from what I understand, like the Carr version better. I'm getting the shaking head, yes, okay. You should remember that bill. Every one of you voted for it except me. So, motion to report being made, properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk open the roll. Not that I want to talk about it, but, and you can close the roll.
12 ayes, 1 nay.
12 ayes, 1 nay. House Bill 594 reports in its original version. If someone from the House of Delegates would let Betsy know that, oh, great, thank you. So we take out 594. And that next thing would be zoning violation penalties. Delegate Bell. Delegate Bell, we understand this bill would have raised the penalties for zoning violations from $1,000 to $2,000 and a maximum fine for failure to abate from $1,500 to $2,000 for succeeding 10-day periods. Is that right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, that's correct.
Delegate, I can say that Senator Favola was absolutely convincing on this committee. Who were the two that voted against it? D-Staff and probably Amanda? It's an easy guess. I mean, it's safe to say it's you two. DB, can you look up and see what the vote is so we can make sure that we're not making, and just do this for me every time so I don't have to try to use that contraption called an iPad. All right, so this went out of here by Senator Favola's. I'm gonna have to get used to this.
Move the bill be reported.
11-2. Motion to report the bill. I just want to make sure we can tell the two that voted against it that they voted against it. No, so they can, I don't want
There
them.
may be maybe if they have a question, Delegate Bell can.
Jason DeSteff, ladies and gentlemen, I was right. All right, so there's a motion to report HB 709.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator DeSteff.
I just want to explain that when we double a fee like this, then the localities will get a little more aggressive and use this. So in my area of the world, I don't care to double fees for anything or anyone, especially when my constituents don't like to pay twice what they pay today when they have a little issue or a little error. So that's why I voted against this, and I'll be consistently doing that on this, just so you know.
Mr. Chairman, I would like Delegate Bell to respond, or I could
Senator
respond,
Favola.
but I think Delegate Bell.
Well, I mean, let's first understand, as I did with the previous bill, that this is the maximum that they can charge. Doesn't mean that they're actually going to charge for the zoning violation. Is that correct, Delegate Bell?
Mr. Chairman, this is a criminal violation. It's a fine, not a fee. And this, frankly, was asked, our judges in my locality asked me for this because the civil fine is at $2,500 already. And a glitch in the code, the criminal fine, which is usually repeat offenders, is only $1,000. Through some compromise, we arrived at the $2,000. This hasn't been raised since 1976, and before that it was $250. So that's why we're doing this, frankly, at our judge's request, because when they get someone who's a criminal offender, repeat offender, they felt like it was an insult to their authority, the fact that the fine was less than the civil.
Chairman.
Lord knows we don't want to insult those judges and their authority.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Favola.
I just want to add that by criminal violations, we're talking about violations that would actually affect safety, so public welfare or safety. So I just want to put that in context.
Thank you, Senator Favola. Is there any further discussion on this bill? Anybody wants to speak for or against briefly on this bill? Seeing none, is there a motion? Motion being made to report HB 709. Is there a second? Second, properly supported of the motion. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, clerk, please open the roll. And close the roll.
11 ayes, 2 nays.
11 ayes, 2 nays, identical as Senator Favola's, but we like her better. Just know that, okay?
It was the good luck of Delegate Hodges when he tapped me.
That's exactly right. This podium is gold.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Delegate Bell. All right. Let's see, 775. I know, but they weren't unanimous. Delegate Landis. The snow removal bill.
Yes, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, I have House Bill 775, which I believe is identical to Senate Bill 684, which passed this committee and the Senate earlier this month. We are simply adding for the authority of Albemarle County, which is a county outside of Planning District 8, the authority to deal with snow and ice removal ordinances. But all this does is allow them to give them the authority. It doesn't say they have to do it, obviously. But the intent for Albemarle, Mr. Chairman, is to use this in some of their aging suburban neighborhoods. Mr. Chairman, I would say I had the opportunity to travel with Albemarle County Police this past summer, and I can tell you this measure and another measure I had related to regulating secondary roads parking were very important based on some of the older suburban neighborhoods and being able to actually get public safety vehicles up and down these subdivisions. So that's why that legislation is before you.
Thank you, Delegate Landis. Are there any questions of the patron? No one has questions for the snow and ice removal. Is there anyone here who'd like to speak for or against the bill briefly?
I'll second that.
Motion being made to report with a second properly supported. Does anyone desire to know who or to remember whether you voted yes or no on this? Oh, you remember? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I've got Senator Sorrell's proxy, so I better check on that.
Yes, sir. Let me see. Votes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, Senator Servell is a freedom-loving snow removal guy. There you go.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I just like to make a quick comment. I did vote no on this on the other bill, Senate Bill 684, and I'm going to be consistent on this bill as well. I just feel like it's a little bit of overreach, and that's why I did not support the bill in the Senate version. But
Okay.
appreciate the patron. I like him.
All right. Suck up. What a suck up. Please don't hurt me when my bills come over is what she just told you. All right. Anybody else want to suck up to Delegate Landis? Hearing none?
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Hanger, you want to suck up to Delegate Landis?
No, not at all. He's my friend, but I normally don't vote for these, but the reason I'm going to vote for it, he's representing his constituency on the other side of the mountain, which is a bit more liberal than on my side of the mountain.
Wow.
Now, we're not going to categorize
Anybody else want to chime in here while you got
constituents.
the opportunity? All right, the motion is second being properly made. Clerk, open the roll and get this over with.
Nine ayes, 4 nays.
9 ayes, 4 nays. Ooh, a close one there, Delegate Landis. Just remember, I voted green, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I know, Mr. Chairman, as the chairman of this committee, you will do an admirable job defending this on the floor.
Oh, no, wait. Having voted on the prevailing side, by which,
I'll pipe up and support it.
Yeah. We'll take care of your bill after you leave. Okay, so that one's done. Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Do you want to go to the
All right, now
Kathleen
that
Murphy.
leaves 1595.
That's the one I want to make a motion on. I'd like to make a motion on.
Oh, you would?
You know, for the letter.
Oh, right. Okay. House Bill 1595, I believe, is the Freedom to Mulch Bill.
You're correct,
All
Mr.
right.
Chairman.
Now, we have heard, we actually considered the Obenshain version of this bill, which I believe DB is identical. Okay. We heard from people from the area that were seeking this bill and people that were against this bill. Delegate Wilt, would you just like to say very quickly anything you'd like to say about this bill?
Mr. Chairman, you've aptly said that the committee is fully vetted it. I don't want to unduly impose on your time.
You like that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's.
Mr. Chairman, now I'm sucking up. So.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Here you go.
And this is such an important committee here. Is there anybody here who traveled a long distance who'd like to say something for or against this bill? There we go, see? Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting ganged up on now. All right, now, gentlemen, as you know, and I think you were here the last time,
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate you coming down, and that's why I want to make sure that when you come down, you make that trip, you're not just sitting in the audience that you get a chance to speak.
Thanks, sir.
We're very appreciative of what you do. Thanks for keeping all of us safe, and I understand why you didn't support my fireworks bill, but, we can talk about that another day.
Can we do that offline? Yes, sir.
That's right. Gentlemen, please, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I won't take much of your time. You've heard most of my testimony. We're staunchly opposed to this bill. This is a violation of the statewide fire prevention code. The statewide fire prevention code allows localities to take care of local fire problems. Putting this into a zoning ordinance and a vested right makes no sense. Vested rights are invoking vested rights when a property has changed zoning. This has nothing to do with it. So we want to leave this in the statewide fire prevention code, which we've been under a lawsuit and other bills that we're doing the right thing. It's vindicated the city on all 7 counts. 2 quick points. We don't retrofit. That's a big thing in this. You don't have to do anything to comply with this ordinance. And there's been a lot of talk of grandfathering. We do not grandfather in this. The fire and building codes has a history of many things in there that do not grandfather for the right reasons. And it's kind of ironic I'm talking about that today because today is the 15th anniversary of the Station nightclub fire. 100 people died in a nightclub that evening, 2003. It's February 20th, 2003, West Warwick, Rhode Island. And a lot of the reason that building operated was under grandfathering. At that time, that state had no grandfather. Everything was grandfathered. You didn't have to go back and do anything. 2004, they changed the way they did business. That catastrophic incident changed the whole concept of grandfathering. I really don't want us to make that mistake, that we have to go back to a catastrophic loss of life to learn from that and have to revisit this issue. So I really hope you vote no on this for the life safety issue. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for what you do for us, sir. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Senator Stanley, members of the committee. My name is Mike Riley. I'm the Executive Director of Virginia Department of Fire Programs, newly appointed. So thank you for the opportunity to
Congratulations.
talk to you. Thank you so much, sir. As you know, the governor opposes this, as does VML and VACO, and most of the firefighters stakeholder groups. The big issue here, of course, is this is a local issue that should be dealt with at the local level. If you don't allow the Virginia localities to enforce the fire code and protect their citizens, and you make it an issue of vesting rights, it's not going to work. I was a firefighter for Fairfax County for 36 years, responded to hundreds of fires in which people's houses were burning down around them and they didn't even know about it. Someone drops a cigarette outside, catches the mulch on fire, catches the flammable material on the side of the building, the roof comes down, and as firefighters getting in there, they're putting their lives on the line to try and fight a fire that really had way too much of a start. So removing the ability for localities to keep their residents safe, to me, is a local issue. Delegates and senators, really like to have their localities take care of that fire code at the local level. And we appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Brian McGraw, the Virginia State Fire Marshal. And I also oppose this bill. My office opposes this bill. As the fire chief from Harrisonburg has noted, over the last 9 years, there have been 300 some fires in the city of Harrisonburg as a result of smoking materials discarded into mulch, igniting these buildings with combustible exteriors. Fortunately, all of those fires occurred during daytime hours, and there were no injuries or fatalities from them. However, The way these fires spread, they get onto the exterior of the building, they go up the side, and they get into the soffit and into the attic space where there are no fire protection systems, no smoke alarms, no sprinkler systems. A fire at nighttime will most likely result in people being injured or killed because the fire will gain hold of the attic space, weaken the wood trusses, and likely result in a collapse before the people inside are even aware of it. An example of this occurred in Chesapeake this past summer. While the fire was not actually caused by mulch on exterior siding, it was a lightning strike to the roof. The fire took hold in the attic before people were aware of it, and 3 citizens were killed. So for these reasons, we ask you to oppose this bill and allow the city of Harrisonburg and other localities to regulate what they consider to be and what is a public safety and fire hazard. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. Keeping us safe. Yes, Chief. Chief Dix.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'm here on behalf of a number of organizations, and I'll tick them off quickly. The Apartment and Office Building Association, the Home Builders Association of Virginia, the Northern Virginia Apartment Association, Agribusiness Council is here, the Virginia Apartment Management Association, the Virginia Manufactured Modular Home Association, the Virginia Realtors, the Retail Merchants, the Retail Federation, and National Federation of Independent Businesses, and folks are here to speak on that. This is a serious issue, and it's a combination of looking at policy issues on life safety and private property rights. And we have a protocol for dealing with that in Virginia. And normally what happens is the fire code professionals, the building code professionals get together in something called the Building Code Work Group, and they develop goals and expectations of what the policy ought to be going forward. And when they do that, they say, for new buildings, this is going to be our policy going forward. It doesn't ever retroactively apply to existing buildings. So what the city of Harrisonburg did in this case is to retroactively apply to existing buildings a standard for mulch. When the city had approved by occupancy permit in the city of Harrisonburg, that mulch being there, and in many cases it went through zoning and whatnot, and we all know in other localities what happens is it's either part of zoning approval, site plan approval, or some type of other permit approval that the locality grants. We worked with Fairfax County and other localities to deal with those type of issues, and that's built into this bill. So the proper thing to do here is to pass this bill, and then Senator Marston and I have had a discussion about what is the policy of Virginia currently with respect to landscape cover materials. And guess what? That discussion has not yet occurred as to whether or not there should be a provision in the building code that has a separation of mulch or other combustible landscape cover material and the side of a house that has combustible siding. And so, time's up, right?
Hey,
that's like the gong
we got enough
show,
firemen in here to take care of this. Yeah,
That's right.
Have them on it. Way to go, Amy.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I didn't wear my sport coat this afternoon, so I just didn't. But I would suggest, and we've had discussions about the Housing Commission looking at the issue of prospective application, and we would ask you to do that. We think that's a discussion that needs to be had, and then the Building and Fire Code Group needs to work at it.
Very good.
At the same time, Mr. Chairman, this bill needs to pass because even if and when the fire code and the building code includes a provision for landscape cover material, it will not retroactively apply to existing buildings. So we'd ask you to pass the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Dix. Anybody else want to speak very briefly? This bill passed out of here 12-2.
Mr. Chairman, members of the
10-2.
committee, Jody Roth on behalf of Virginia Retail Federation. We do support this bill based on all of the costly burdens just mentioned by Mr. Dix to our members. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, Nicole Riley with the National Federation of Independent Business, and on behalf of our small business owners, we support the bill. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Mike Armstrong. I am the fire marshal in the city of Harrisonburg, but I represent the Virginia Fire Prevention Association off their legislative committee. We continually hear about how we don't retrofit things, we aren't retroactive in Virginia, and that's not fully true. We do have retroactivity in things that have occurred here and things that do continue to occur here.
primarily in smoke alarms in our college and university dorms, juvenile care facility, nursing facilities. Do you recall, and you may not, that we did retroactively require hotel motels over a certain story of 3 to 4 to put sprinkler systems in? We do these things in Virginia, and we do them when life safety issues or something that directly affect our public, and that's what we're looking to address here. We would ask that you keep those things in mind and oppose the bill.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right, ladies and gentlemen, House Bill 1595 is before us. Senator Marsden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a serious matter. And the way we usually deal with these things is to try to deal with them on a statewide basis, bringing everybody to the table. And this is sort of coming out of the city of Harrisonburg, and they may well be correct, and they have, a case to make here. And I think that they have presented it well. But I think the better course of action here would be to pass this bill, which I would so move, along with a letter to the Housing Commission asking them to bring the stakeholders together to study this issue going forward and to find a way to, I don't know if retrofit is the word, but there's our proper times that can be established as to when a business or an apartment complex or whatever would need to update its practices and to put in a mechanism for doing that, but to study all of that and get back to us, because the case has been very well made that this is a serious issue, but it also creates serious implications for businesses here in Virginia. So let's try to get this right on a statewide basis and pass this bill with a letter, and I so move.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first time in Senate history, a motion to pass with a letter, not PBI with a letter.
Senators.
So do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman.
Hold on, let's put it, that's in a second. Is there discussion on that motion? Senator Chase.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I just have a quick question. Of all the situations in which we've had mulch to catch on fire, how many deaths in the Commonwealth have there actually been? And how many deaths and how many injuries have we had?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not aware of any, but perhaps our fire folks can, or anyone
And
that can.
Senator Chase, you're talking about other than property damage. You're talking about actually a harm to human life or animal life.
Correct.
Sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I apologize. Chief Riley stepped out of the room. Chief Riley, before becoming the Executive Director of Fire Programs, was the Fire Marshal in Fairfax County, where he served 40 years. In our discussions this morning, he did reference an incident in Fairfax County where there was one fatality, where a fire had started by improperly discarded smoking materials in combustible ground cover, mulch. They got into a structure, and as a result of that, an individual did perish.
Thank you, sir. Any further questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Further
but
discussion?
I wouldn't know if that would be, the type of structures we're talking about here, or an individual residential structure. I'm not sure of that.
Motion being made with a letter recommendation, second, properly supported. Is there any further discussion by this panel? Hearing none. To report with a letter. With a letter. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Clerk, open the roll. Close roll.
11 ayes, 2 nays.
11 ayes, 2 nays. House Bill 1595. Report, sir.
Thank you,
With a
Mr.
letter.
Chairman, committee members.
We'll see you back in April.
Yes, thanks for your time.
After the governor vetoes it. All right. Senate Bill 295. You ready to rock? A House bill, sorry, patron Delegate Murphy. Sorry, we just gave you a promotion.
You did. That wasn't a bad
Welcome aboard.
promotion. Thank you.
All right, now this bill was identical to Senator Barbara Favola's bill, which passed out of here by a vote of 11-2, but then failed in the Senate because our actual lieutenant governor wasn't there that day on a 20-20 tie. And, okay. We've heard this bill. This is, of course, the sticker bill that allows or actually restricts the ability of people to turn into certain parts of the neighborhoods. What?
No, that's not what it does. The regrettable part of this is that it was misinterpreted. This bill is a simple bill. It just grants authority to to counties to issue stickers to residents of communities at no cost so that they have unrestricted access to their homes. If VDOT decides to come along Georgetown Pike and start putting up signs, what we're trying to do is get this ability of the county to issue stickers to people in the communities before signs would go up, so that they would never be limited to being able to turn into their own community. Now, somehow, this has gotten backwards. The bill doesn't ask for signs to go up. It doesn't cost residents anything. It has one purpose: to ensure that if VDOT puts up restrictive signs, that they will still have unlimited access to their own streets, because they will be able to get these stickers from the county that say they're residents. That's all the bill does. And I'm really sorry that it just didn't quite turn out that way.
Mr. Chairman.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Carrico, Senator Carrico.
So I do understand now, you're asking if VDOT puts a sign up on a road that's a state-maintained road that turns into a subdivision, those residents can be issued a sticker from Fairfax County showing that they are a resident of that location, and they can violate, or basically violate the law of not turning at that certain time.
Well,
and the police will know
yes,
that they,
Live
by
there.
their sticker, that they have the authority
to turn.
when it says no right turn.
That's all it says.
And one further question.
Senator Carrico.
With that subdivision, is this the only way into that subdivision in order to get to that home? So if we don't issue these stickers, is there no other way into those homes?
Mr. Chairman, I would say at this time, we wouldn't know what VDOT's plan would be. And before they will start putting signs up, there'll be extensive input by the community. Right now, we're trying to deal with a problem where Waze is sending cars through our neighborhoods. They're going fast. Kids are getting off of school buses. Some of these neighborhoods don't have sidewalks. We're trying to be prepared before VDOT acts on what they're going to decide to do with these signage. We just don't know what the signs are going to be, or we don't even know if that will be where VDOT decides to go. But we're trying to be proactive here. We're trying to say, if that's the direction they're going, it's better to give our counties the ability to be able to do something about it, to ensure people have a right to go into their own neighborhoods anytime they feel like it.
Further questions?
Mr. Chairman's comment. I found one of these similar
Further
situations in my...
Further question? Just kidding.
Okay. Found one of these situations, and just for the committee's edification, what it's designed to stop is people using a shortcut that brought them out to a kind of a major road, a 6-lane road in between two traffic lights. And so they pull up at a stop sign trying to take a right-hand turn, and during rush hour, people are stopping to let them in. It messes up the whole traffic pattern, so they want to keep people off of these side roads, not just for the protection of the community, but to improve traffic flow. And these signs would just allow residents to be identified by the police and not given tickets. It's sort of an affirmative defense situation.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to add that we have the support of the McLean Citizens Association and the support of the Great Falls Citizen Association.
Thank you, Delegate. All right, any further questions of the delegate or the patron? Senator Carrico.
One more.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out the enforcement side of this, because in my understanding, the sign would have to say no left turn except those cars with stickers. Because if you start allowing cars to turn, others are going to follow.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I would say that we don't know what the sign could say, but it could say no left turn except for residents too. We have no idea. We're trying to push forward with helping the people of these neighborhoods be prepared if, no matter what VDOT comes up with. And this is a part of that preparation. And it only applies to counties with urban county executive form of government. I know in Arlington, they have all sorts of little stickers on people's cars that allow them to park in front of their own house. This is not an unusual thing.
Is VDOT here?
Senator Carrico.
Is VDOT here?
Is VDOT here?
I don't
Hearing
believe
no VDOT,
VDOT's
we'll move on.
opposing
Any
this
other
bill
questions?
either.
All right. Chris, we get it. We know you love it. All right, does anybody else want to speak to this bill briefly? If we haven't heard from you before in the bill version last time?
Tim Thompson, FC, Federation of Citizens Associations. I've also, 6 years, been working on a VDOT working group on the widening of Route 7 from Loudoun County to Tyson's Corner. We will be greatly affected by the signage that will be going up by VDOT should they do this. Right now, when we first started the working group, there was 6 to 7% out of state, Maryland and West Virginia predominantly. It is now up not quite 24%, with a lot of Pennsylvania cars coming in through Leesburg and coming down. And so we were, with Waze, we were seeing cars cutting through. VDOT put strips across our neighborhood streets. As you saw in my letter, 21 heel to toe width, no sidewalks in our neighborhoods. And the average speed going down past an elementary school bus stop was 48 miles an hour in a 25 zone, predominantly out-of-state cars. This is why we need this thing, so that if something comes in, Waze and the police put up something, the residents can still get into their neighborhood, but the other ones, the speeders, the safety issue will be relieved. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Patrick Smaldor. I'm from McLean in Fairfax County. I'm speaking on my own behalf today as a citizen. I want to support this bill. I hope you would too. I think we have a lot of issues with traffic coming in from Maryland and making it difficult for residents to get on and off their streets and through their streets. And I hope you would support this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Senator Steph.
Mr. Chairman, I had a couple of quick questions of the patron, if I could.
Sure.
And just very quickly, Delegate Murphy, if my nanny were to deliver my kids home and she doesn't live in the neighborhood, yet she has a vehicle, her own vehicle, but she doesn't have a sticker because she doesn't live in the neighborhood, then would she get a ticket, or how would that work?
Delegate, for those people, and this is a hypothetical that just deals with people who have nannies. So please keep it.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, let me rephrase that.
Holy cow.
If I am trying
when
to
my
visit one of
chef
my
comes
sick,
over to make me dinner.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have a nanny.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, we won't go into domestic help. What if one of my employees is very ill and I'm trying to visit them to deliver them food for the evening, and I try to pull into their neighborhood because I'm trying to deliver food to my sick, dying employee? In that case, would I get a ticket for trying to do that?
Well, right now, there are no signs, so no, you wouldn't.
But after this bill passed,
Even
Mr.
if
Chairman,
the
if I
bill
may.
passed, Mr. Chairman, there's still no signs. What we're trying to do is beat VDOT. We want the county to be able to issue residents and probably their household members, lots of people in their households, with stickers that identify them as belonging to a neighborhood. So that if VDOT decides to make this decision somewhere down the line, the county can ensure that our neighbors and our community members can still get into their homes.
Mr. Chairman, one last question.
Senator Steph.
End it. Are these streets, does VDOT pay for the maintenance on these streets? Are these public streets or are these private streets?
State maintained.
Mr. Chairman, they are state-maintained streets. Again, we are not talking about signs, Mr. Chairman. We are talking about permission for the county to issue stickers. We're not
So when
talking about signs.
Senator DeSteff's personal trainer shows up in the never mind. All
Okay.
right, anything more?
Well, Mr. Chair,
Senator McClellan.
just to clarify, in Senator DeSteff's hypothetical, if VDOT decides to put signs up restricting turns into the neighborhood, without this bill, no one can turn into the neighborhood.
Well, there are other,
right?
Mr. Chairman, there are other roads. They're just not direct.
Converging road.
Yes.
Right, so if VDOT puts the signs up,
No one can turn.
no one can turn, and what she's trying to do is allow at least the residents to use the primary entrance into the neighborhood that they've lived in if these signs go up.
That's the deal.
Mr. Chairman, one last follow-up question, and I'll be done, I promise. Maybe.
Wait a minute. Senator Steff wants to ask a question. All in favor of letting him ask a question, please say aye.
I say
And all
no.
opposed, no? No.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, my last question is, where else has VDOT put in neighborhoods, no left turn or no right turn into those neighborhoods based on specifically the request of a neighborhood? Where have they put up signs in the
Mr.
Commonwealth
Chairman,
anywhere?
again, this is not about putting up signs, and so that's not why I'm here. I'm here to say that we want the county to have permission to issue stickers to residents so that if VDOT does whatever VDOT does in meeting the problems of, that are being inflicted on our communities right this minute, then we will be ready.
Thank you, Delegate.
Sounds
Thank
like
you.
a solution looking for a problem.
All right, is there a motion on this bill, for goodness sake?
Can I make the motion?
Motion report being made and properly supported with a second.
Substitute.
Substitute motion coming from Senator.
I feel that we're going to do something here and Senator McClellan asked the question that I asked earlier, is this the only way into that subdivision? If it was the only way in, I could see we have an issue. These are roads paid for by taxpayers' dollars, and there's not any indication that the residents can't get into the subdivision without the turn. So I would move, Mr. Chairman, that we PBI the bill.
Mr. Chairman?
A substitute motion being on the floor to pass the by indefinitely being made and seconded.
May I speak to that motion?
Senator Favola.
I would ask that we not PBI this because the concept of VDOT actually making a determination on whether to put these signs up is based on this very sophisticated and elaborate community input process. I mean, VDOT uses this no-turn sign tool, if you will, to manage traffic. And they do this traffic analysis. They have a very large catchment area. There's comments from residents who are in any way, shape, or form involved or live near the signs where the no-turn sign would go up. So this is, if you want to think of it as a tool in the toolbox, that's what this is. But the no-turn signs would not go up without really extensive communication and traffic analysis. And my experience has been when the signs go up, it's for a limited period of time. It would be during a rush hour period. So this bill doesn't do any harm if you are following my
Mr. Chairman.
advice.
I'm going to say one more thing, and I'm going to be quiet. I think.
Senator Carrico.
I believe if we...
Racing Senator Steff now for many words.
I believe that if we start down this path, the next subdivision that has had break-ins and don't want any through traffic in their subdivision will be having VDOT to study no turns into my subdivision at a certain time or location. I just feel like if this is a traffic issue, then it can be addressed with no one turning at that location, and the residents can get in from the other entrances and exits out of that subdivision.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say that the residents would be very unhappy not being able to get into their neighborhood. but thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just have one
Thank
more
you,
piece
Delegate
of
Murphy.
information for the committee. Cities
This is
and
one of
towns.
these exciting things in local governments that we just.
I know you're
usually-
just holding your breath, Mr.
Well, I
Chairman.
know, it's usually charter bills and, stuff like that, and snow removal.
Mr. Chairman.
Oh, wait, let's see if anybody else has
Mr.
not
Chairman?
spoken yet.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Donovan, because I like her better than you, Emma.
Okay, go
ahead.
Well, I will simply say I supported this bill when Senator Favola presented it. But I have to tell you, because I thought I understood it, the debate was as confusing when we heard it before as it is now, which makes me suspicious it's possibly a solution waiting for a problem. We don't even have signs yet. But I have subsequently gotten input from other members of the neighborhood that they would be very unhappy with some of these changes. So I don't think this plan has been thought out in completion yet, and I think that's why it's so hard for us to understand what's happening. And I would urge the committee to not pass something that is not yet a problem, that may have unintended consequences, and I will be voting against it this time.
Under subdivision ordinances, you can't have one road in without a road out.
Senator Hanger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I'm only going to ask a question because it seems like it's going a different direction than I thought it would, and I might be on the bubble here. I would ask, and my statement first would be, I've seen this in many localities where the sign says, instead of no turns, no through traffic.
Right.
No through traffic. And that's fairly easy to police. If you see people turning, you follow them one end to the other, and hey, you violated this, or they're out of state, you might, if it's being monitored. Would that not be a better solution for VDOT to come to, particularly if we, those of us who work with VDOT regularly, were to suggest to them that should happen?
That's the key.
Mr. Chairman, again, this bill is designed to give counties the authority to issue stickers to residents. It is not addressing turns. It is not addressing signs. That is down the road. That is another bill some other day. That is not what this bill is talking about. This bill says that if people live in that community and VDOT comes along in a month or a year and decides to limit their access to where they live, that they can be issued a sticker that identifies them as belonging to the neighborhood and allowing them access at all times from any entrance. That's about as clear as I can be.
Thank you, Delegate Murphy.
Thank you, Mr.
Listen, you've
Chairman.
been clear, you've been
I
patient,
have.
you have been resilient, you have been wonderful to have here, so we appreciate that,
Thank you.
especially on this, which has got a fever, obviously, but
Yes, it does.
let's see how far we go. So the substitute motion before us is to PBI. Now, let me ask do I have, I had a second from Sturtevant, right?
I think you have an 8.
Okay, just relax. Senator Carrigo, would you consider withdrawing your motion and making your substitute motion a motion to carry it by for the year?
I'll make the motion, but I'm not going to feel any better about it next year. I just think it's
if this is where we're going, hold on, let me get this in form.
Mr. Chairman, I'll withdraw.
Trying to be kind to the very nice patron we have here.
I'll withdraw my motion and allow someone else to make a motion other than the PBI.
Motion to PBI has been withdrawn. A substitute motion of carrying it by for the year has occurred. And if it is carried by for the year, would you recommend us sending a letter like VDOT or something to
That's what I
answer
was
these
gonna
questions? I
suggest.
mean, it just seems everybody's got a little worried about signs and everything. And good Lord.
Well, I think there's a joint commission on transportation accountability that looks at these things.
We can send
that
it there.
we can send it to.
And bring it back next year and make sure your life is a whole lot easier when it comes forward.
Why, thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, your bill hasn't gone away yet. I don't know that this is it. I'm just trying to do, you've been wonderful here, and we want to, Delegate Murphy, do as much as we can for you if I don't have enough votes here. So there's a motion to carry it by with a letter of referral to the Commission on
Joint Commission on Transportation Accountability.
There you go. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second being properly made. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, speaking of the motion.
Senator Servo.
I think Chairman Carrico is on that commission, right? Yeah, and I would just encourage him. You know, this is a problem all over Fairfax County, and especially in the areas that are closest to the two river cross points, which I have the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, the northern part of my district, which has similar problems. And Chairman Carrico might remember my bill about Waze, where I was trying to keep Waze and Google Maps from routing people in these neighborhoods, and we got to do something because we have a lot of neighborhoods that are getting destroyed by all these people cutting through and nearly running over their children, and that's all this is trying to address.
That's right.
Just for clarification, I'm not the chairman of that. Delegate Hugo is.
And let me just say, guys, you know, and I know this, look, I grew up there, and as a young child, you could go everywhere. It was a smaller place, a smaller town. I grew up there and started a business there, went to law school there, and I can tell you that change did occur, you know, in tenfold. And, you know, when you're in traffic and you're silently seething for an hour while you're trying to go 9 miles, because I now live in the most populated county in the state, and you know of a cut through one of your neighbors that used to, you know, playing with one of your friends, they were taking them. And the problem is now that when I was a child, who could play on that street and not have a fear of someone zipping through who's angry and wants to get home, has been commuting for an hour and a half. Now those streets aren't safe for those children necessarily where those cut-throughs exist. So I understand the problem, and I think it needs to be addressed, and I understand it's a safety issue too. But I understand your point as well, Senator Carrico.
Mr. Chair.
Senator McCollum.
I think we're losing the forest for the trees a little bit. Most of the discussion has been about whether we think it's a good idea or not for VDOT to restrict turns into this area. But that's not Fairfax. Fairfax County and these residents really aren't the decision makers on that. They will have input, but they're not the decision makers. If VDOT makes the decision to do that, then you have residents in a neighborhood that bought their houses with the idea they could very easily get in and out. And what Fairfax is trying to do is preserve their ability to get into their neighborhood in the most efficient manner possible. And Senator Stanley is right. Sometimes just going half a mile to another entry point into that neighborhood is another 30 minutes in Fairfax. And particularly where we're talking about by the American Legion Bridge. And so I think, I don't know whether VDOT putting the signs there is the right thing to do or not, but that's not up to Fairfax. These residents are just looking for a way. They just want to get home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have the motion before us, which is to continue this matter to next year. Ask that it be referred out and we get some answers that perhaps we're not getting answered or we don't feel comfortable with today. Motion being properly made. Second, discussion's already been had. Clerk, open the roll. You can close the roll.
7 ayes, 6 nays.
7 ayes, 6 nays. The matter's continued. And Delegate Murphy, I can tell you this. I will make sure that I shepherd that letter and that this be one of the top priorities of that commission for you, okay? And if you will be so kind as to come back, and I'm sure we will have all the answers to the questions that we can't just figure out for ourselves this year. We will take this up as quickly as possible for you and make sure that it finds its way back onto the floor for consideration.
Thank you very much.
I want to thank you for your presentation. It was wonderful. Thank you for putting up with some of us knuckleheads over here, and we'll see you next year. It's just to try to get you back to local government committee. So that's what. Thank you, Delegate. Delegate Kilgore, quickly. Yes, sir. You have. Let's see.
No right turn on Manville Road.
Exactly.
This is House Bill 663, which is the Kentucky method.
No, Mr. Chairman. This is a bill which comes to us from, we had the hospitals that merged in Southwest Virginia and Upper East Tennessee as Ballad Health. And they did that under a COPA agreement. So you have to do that so you can get by the Federal Trade Commission. And what this bill does that came out of the House is allows the Department of Health, and this was put in at the Department of Health's request, it allows the Department of Health to collect their cost incurred to examine and make sure that this cooperative agreement is fulfilled, and that's basically what this bill does. The parties have agreed on the bill, and we just ask that you move this forward. And if there's any questions, I'm sure that someone's here from the Department of Health and from Ballard, the hospital group.
Delegate Kilgore, are there any questions for the patron? Seeing none, is there anyone here that briefly would like to speak in favor of the bill?
I mean, I got the Department of Health and Ballard who both all
I think you're
agree.
doing okay so far.
Okay.
All right, anybody against it? Seeing none, we operate by motion. I know. Oh, and this motion must be to report the bill and re-refer to finance. I've gotten a letter from the chairman. If you'd like to dispute that, he's right here. We always try to give everybody instant access when they're re-referred to finance. Emmett's been very good. So, all right, there's a motion on the floor to report and re-refer. The motion is to report and re-refer to finance, properly supported with a second. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, clerk, open the roll. Close the roll.
13 ayes, 0 nays.
13 ayes, 0 nays. House Bill 663 is reported and re-referred to finance. Delegate Kilgore.
House Bill 671 is simply a bill that reorganizes a tourism.
I believe we took that up and
already
it passed.
Okay.
So you're good. So it's your last bill right here, 1428.
I've got the charter for the town of Jonesville. I do need to make one amendment. Erroneously in the House, I struck off 2 council members that they didn't want stricken, so I had to put those council members back in.
Can we do that legislatively amending on the fly there, DB? Okay.
I have the amendment.
Okay. Oh, you do?
Yes.
There you go.
I've got it. You got it? Okay.
All right. Do you want to read the amendment there, or what exactly you're doing there, DB?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, there's just one line amendment. It's on line 12, after the word "and," strike the remainder of line 12 and through the word 5 on line 13 and insert 7. So essentially just unstriking that 7 and getting rid of the number or the word 5.
All right. Thank you, Dave. We have a line amendment for us. Motion to accept the amendment, move the amendment. Motion to move the amendment's been made. Is there a second? Properly supported by a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. The amendment is made. So now basically your bill keeps the number of councilmen at 7 and just lengthens their term of the
From
councilman and the mayor from 2 years to 4 years. Is that right?
That's right. That's correct.
And why does this have an emergency clause?
Well, because elections are coming up, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. All right, any questions? Seeing none. Report. What's your pleasure? Motion to report's being made. Is there a second? As amended. Motion to report as amended has been made, properly supported by a second. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. Clerk, please open the roll. What's that?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
13 ayes, 0 nays.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
13 ayes, 0 nays. Yes, you're welcome, Delegate Kilgore. 1428 report.
Can you make a left turn in Jonesville?
So that means 100% participation by the Jonesville residents on the council. All right, let's see, who's next? Oh, Quinn.
Mr.
Good
Chairman,
afternoon, Delegate.
House Bill 637.
House Bill 637. I know. I'll get to it. 637. All right, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Bill 637 is a charter change from the city of Bristol that dissolves their Economic Development Committee and changes it to an Industrial Development Authority. It still keeps most of the powers that were vested in the former Economic Development Committee, but obviously comes with a little bit different authority, so to speak.
Okay. Anybody have questions of the patron? Anybody want to speak either for or against this piece of legislation? Senator Marsden is still confused whether Bristol is in Tennessee or in Virginia.
Both.
Do you want to give him? Both is your
Both.
answer. All right, we operate by motion. Motion to report being properly made, supported by a second. Is there any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, clerk open the roll.
Thirteen ayes, 0 nays.
Thank you,
Goody,
Mr.
I don't
Chairman.
have to talk about that one either. HB 637 reports. Thank you, Delegate O'Quinn. All right, Delegate Ware.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have two measures.
Yes,
You Take them in any order you would prefer.
Which one would you like killed first?
Let's go numeric.
I'm kidding. HB 22.
This is a request by the County of Powhatan to be added to that list of localities that are able to mandate water and sewer hookups. When I was presenting this bill, my good friend Jeff Campbell asked if he could add Smith County, so that is also added to the list. Powhatan is primarily water and septic systems, so this would connect them more broadly. It's all the counties around us have this authority. They've said they're going to do it strictly down Route 60. That's the basics, Mr. Chairman. I'll be glad to answer any further questions.
Thank you, Delegate Ware. Any questions of the patron? Does this restrict left or right turns into neighborhoods by chance?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Excellent. Then I think you've got a pretty good chance of getting this one out. Motion to report being made. Is there any second to that? Second being properly supported of the motion. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, clerk, open the roll, please. Close the roll.
13 ayes, 0 nays.
13 ayes, 0 nays. HB 22 reports. Yes, sir. Delegate Ware.
HB 60 also does not have anything about turning into subdivisions. It is a request from Goochland County to alter the current size of its Economic Development Authority to 5 members and designate that 3 members shall constitute a quorum on that board. This comes, as I say, as a request from Goochland County. I'm not aware of any controversy.
Yes, sir. Anybody from Goochland want to speak for or against quickly? It's in good shape. You've got a great patron. You might mess it up if you say one word.
Thank you. We just want to thank Delegate Ware for carrying this for us.
Suck up. Everybody's a suck up today. What's going on here? All right. We operate by motion. Motion report being made. A second properly supporting it. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, clerk, open the roll. And you can close the roll.
11 ayes, 0 nays.
11 ayes, 0 nays, and that bill is reported.
Mr. Chairman, members, thank you for your hospitality.
Delegate Ware, we always love having you out here. Please come back with more exciting charter bills. All right. Let's see. Delegate Wright. Delegate Austin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an amendment to House Bill 123. I think your clerk has that.
Exciting charter bill.
That's a charter bill, my friend.
Mr.
Important
Chair,
charter bill.
Delegate Austin, make sure that you understand and you tell all your friends on the House of Delegates side that when you get back there, that Delegate Campbell was the absolute last. I mean, Delegate Collins was the absolute last guy.
I will make certain they're aware of that.
He spends a lot of time up on the Senate floors.
Does he really?
He does. So what it is we're trying to spend as much time with him as possible. All right, so there's an amendment to HB 123. DB, read that amendment for me.
Mr. Chairman, on line 31, after the word on, strike December 31st and insert January 1st. Again, that's line 31.
Very good. The amendment's We need to put this bill in proper form. Move the amendment. Motion being properly made and supported by second. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. And your amendment is properly before us.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill simply staggers the election terms and puts the responsibilities of the town clerk and the town treasurer under the supervision of the town manager. That's basically all the bill does.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there any question of the patron of this highly controversial bill? Motion being made to report and a second supporting it. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, clerk, open the roll. And that bill is, close the roll.
12 ayes, 0 nays.
12 ayes, 0 nays. HB 123 is reported.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Great to see you, Delegate. Welcome back, sir. We've missed you.
Thank you.
You look great.
Good. Appreciate it.
All right. Let's see. Okay, Delegate Collins.
Hey.
Oh, wait, we got other people, all right. Oh, look, we have 2 rookies left after this, don't we? Interesting. Interesting indeed. Luckily, the crowd has cleared out mostly, but it is on film. All right. Delegate Collins, I called you Camel, and that was
That's
not an
okay.
insult,
I
but
won't hold that against you, Senator.
Yes, sir, I appreciate it.
Chairman. So I am here, another town charter bill, which is
1166.
1166, which is similar to SB 550, which was carried by Senator Obenshain.
All right.
So the difference is on line 306 between my bill, my town charter, and the senator's town charter. I can explain the difference.
Please.
So the town, when the town of Front Royal drafted their legislation, they wanted to give themselves the authority that was not given to them by the Code of Virginia in order to deem blighted properties to be, of course, blighted within the town. As a town, they do not have that authority. In the House of Delegates, on that version, what we did was amend it to reflect that they were only given those powers that are given to them statutorily through the Code of Virginia. But everything else is identical. So I leave it to the discretion of the committee as well as the Senate as to if that is an inherent power you want to give to a locality to do that.
Delegate Collins, your presentation was so exciting, most of my committee has abandoned this dais.
I have that effect.
You're doing an excellent job. Are there any questions of the patron? Motion being made to report. Is there a second? Similar but not really, he said.
There's one line difference between Senator Obenshain's bill and my bill, and I'm going to go discuss that with him.
You take care of business?
I'll take care of it.
Excellent.
I'm here for you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, one quick question.
Really? All right, Senator Staff.
Will the discussion happen before it hits the floor?
Yes. I had an appointment with him.
Mr. Chairman.
I have an appointment with him on another bill, but I want to go ahead.
You don't need to say any more.
That's right. I'm okay.
All right, very good. Thank you, Delegate Collins. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Hearing a second properly supporting the motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, open the roll. Ooh, that was tight. Close roll.
12 ayes, 0 nays.
12 ayes, 0 nays. HB 1166 passes.
Thank you, Mr.
I can
Chairman.
imagine seeing that on the front of your brochure next year.
It is. It's a
right, buddy?
brochure piece.
Yeah, yeah.
That and the curtains I picked out for the office on the 6th floor.
Excellent. Can you show us the patterns?
Got it.
I need to.
I'll get you a swap.
Wonderful. Hey, before we get much farther, I forgot to introduce our pages. I ask you come up, stand up right here at the podium and say who you are and where you're from. That way your parents can see you're actually doing some work today. So why don't you come up here before we take these next bills? Both yes. One at a time. Good afternoon.
Good
Hello,
afternoon.
young lady. Please identify yourself to the committee.
I'm Josephine Abriels, and I'm from Alexandria.
Very good. Welcome, welcome.
I'm Delaney Adams, and I'm from Fairfax.
All right, a bunch of Northern Virginia young ladies, huh? Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks for all your help, guys. Who's your favorite senator? You hesitate? Just kidding. All right, let's go to Delegate Hurst. Welcome, Rook. New guy alert, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I'm conspicuously dressed like a page today, so.
Mr. Chairman, parliamentary inquiry.
Yes, parliamentary inquiry.
Is this the first bill he's getting to pass the Senate, or has he already had one pass?
I believe he snuck one through on us.
Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I believe last week in Rehab and Social Services, he actually doubled the economic viability of a bill and doubled the land grab that occurred in the bill, amazingly so. Started off with a very modest bill and convinced the committee to double down on his efforts for him.
Is that right?
Mr. Chairman, I would say that was with the good work of Senator DeSteff and Cosgrove and McDougal to help improve the economic development opportunity for Montgomery County.
More suck up, everybody. This is Suck Up Saturday. I mean, all right. Well, let's see how you're going to do here. Ladies and gentlemen, I draw your attention to his bill here, which is House Bill 48. What we're going to ask that you do, though, is let's see, we're going to ask that you take up Delegate Tommy Wright's HB 267 for us.
If I have a copy, I can give it my best shot, Mr. Chairman.
Let's just know. I want you to look at the title and see what happens. Put up HB 266, please. 267. There you go. All right. This is a bill from Crew amending the charter, and go.
Mr. Chairman, I think this is a very good bill. It's a very simple bill. This promotes transparency and open government, and has nothing to do with an IDA. So.
Ooh, he's getting all the catchphrases and he knows how to make it funny.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Marsden.
By asking for permission for Blacksburg to vote twice on these things, is the gentleman insinuating the fact that we only vote once on things here, that we are somehow in error?
So we're going back to your bill. Let's put his bill back on after he failed miserably. HB 267. Let's report to Delegate Wright that it was PBI'd a la Hearst. Do you? Okay. Motion to report House Bill 267 being made. Is there a second? No second. Fails on the lack of a second. Oh, you second this? Yes, sir. Okay. Motion is second. Any discussion on House Bill 267? Delegate Wright gets all the credit. Delegate Hurst gets none. Hearing none, open the roll. Wow, getting some red up there. Don't make me talk about that. All right, close the roll, please.
10 ayes, 0 nays.
House Bill 267 passes. Congratulations, Delegate Hurst. That's real bipartisanship right there. That's crossing the aisle like I've never seen before.
I'm very privileged to be a part of it.
Hey, put Chase down. Put everybody down for a yes, by the way, that I have this thing. All right. Let's see. Who else's bill would you like to try to get passed?
Mr. Chairman, trying to help out the town of Blacksburg would be wonderful.
All right. Let's try then. Well, Danville's near Blacksburg. Danny Marshall's House Bill 431. Let's go with that one. Oh, no. Danny Marshall. Wait. We want Delegate Hurst. Look at that picture of some fallen books on the TV. All right, never mind. So, no, we want Delegate Hurst. Do you trust Delegate Hurst? Remember, we trusted him with the news and weather. Do we trust Delegate Hurst?
I used to watch him every night at 6
I did too. He was mesmerizing.
One of the bushes outside.
He was my favorite.
He just went down a rabbit hole. We didn't.
Yes. All right. Hold on, Delegate Marshall. We're having fun with Hurst. So if you can give us 2 seconds. All right, Hurst. Let's try your bill.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you was calling me up.
Yeah, I know. We were going to try to get him to do your bill. We didn't think you were here. All right. Delegate Hurst.
Yes, sir.
I hope you understand this is a ritual that we all have gone through at one time or another in this court, in this committee. Yes, sir. Delegate Hurst, your bill.
And, Mr. Chairman, first would like to answer the question from Senator Marsden. Certainly, I don't think the town of Blacksburg is trying to make a comment on the activities of members of either the Senate or the House with their town charter. This town charter very simply tries to get their charter to conform with existing code section we have in Title 15-2 to have a public hearing be conducted no less than 5 days before public hearing. They're also eliminating a confusing reference to the outdated practice of quote-unquote reading ordinances, and then they're also clarifying the process for when no action is to be taken on an ordinance at a meeting.
Questions of the patron? Senator McPike.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you walk me through lines 52 through 54 in terms of how one is supposed to pass an ordinance unless which time that agenda for which the meeting is published indicates that the ordinance won't actually be passed.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Senator McPike, this has kind of been the question that I've been talking with the town attorney a lot too. We originally had kind of almost a triple negative in the actual writing of the town charter that then had us introduce a substitute so that we were trying to remove any conflicting language. But essentially, if you are trying to pass an ordinance, you must have a public hearing, and at that public hearing, you must vote on that ordinance unless you otherwise say in the advertisement of the public hearing that you're not going to be voting on the ordinance.
Mr. Chairman?
Senator McPike.
Follow-up question to the patron.
Yes, sir.
The bill doesn't say that. What you said was actually pretty clear. What this says doesn't say that.
Isn't that right? Mr. Chairman, Senator McPike, as a rook, I certainly am trying to get acclimated with code language and shalls and onlys and mays and multiple nots in one sentence. But the town of Blacksburg and the town attorney feels that this change clarifies what they're already doing in practice. I will say, Mr. Chairman, the town attorney speaking on his behalf, who was at the House CC&T committee meeting when this was taken up, I did say that if it does provide any heartburn for the members, that he is fine with striking that amendment from the bill itself and just focusing on the other two matters. But I believe that the work that we've made to try and make the sentence clearer does accomplish that goal.
Mr. Chairman, did I just hear the word strike?
Strike?
Did he just say strike?
Is that a moot motion?
Is that a friendly amendment? So what would you like to strike?
Mr. Chairman, I am not suggesting. I'm only trying to say that if there was any additional consternation that that was something that that town manager had, the town attorney proposed, but that is not something that I'm trying to propose. I think that this bill is in good standing, as it passed uncontested through the House, and I hope it be the pleasure of this committee to do so as well.
Anybody else from my favorite other loyal side have any questions? Doug Marston says, and it is a standing rule in this committee, that once you say the word strike, there is no, what did you say, takesies, backsies? Takesies, backsies. Thanks for waking up, McClellan. Hello, over here. Trying to get this guy's first bill. You know, he got snuck one by and there was no hazing done. Any other questions of the patron? Any other questions? Motion's been made to report. Is there a second? Second. Is there any discussion on this bill? Clerk, open the roll. Oh, a lot of red up there. Oh, it's getting worse. Keep the roll open. And the clerk will close the roll. Oh, thank God. I can't talk about it like he talks about it. All right. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr.
Delegate
Chairman.
Hurst, we love having you here. Welcome to the General Assembly.
Appreciate it, sir. Thank you very
HB
much.
488 passes 13-0, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Always good to have you here.
Mr.
Thank
Chairman,
you.
voting on the prelim.
Delegate Marshall. Sorry you were up in the queue.
That's okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Well, thank you. Let's take House Bill 431. Brought to you at the
431, ladies and
request
gentlemen.
of one of your localities, Senator, Pennsylvania County.
Yes, help will get you everywhere here.
Well,
my
I know
friend.
it will. I'm trying to.
All right.
All right,
Senate Bill
so what this bill
431.
does is that will remove the maximum ventilation requirements. It gives localities more flexibility in better utilizing their zones, removes the issue of comprehensive enterprise zone. Long story short, we have several enterprise zones in our area, and so they have part of the enterprise zone that has unused land there that they would like to take the part of the enterprise zone and move it to another spot. And so basically, that's what the bill does.
All right, any questions of the patron? Anyone here to speak for or against the bill who might have made the trip up from our area? Seeing none, we operate by motion. Motion being made properly to report, second supporting it. Is there any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, please open the roll. Close the roll.
13 ayes, 0 nays.
13 ayes, 0 nays. HB 431 passes, and the people of Southside thank you.
Well, thank you. Another one from Southside.
Yes, sir.
House Bill 692.
House Bill 692.
All right, long story short, as you well know, we have joint industrial parks in that part of the state. And what can happen is I thought about this last year past the time when we could put a bill in. And so I went to Secretary Rick Brown and told him my idea. I said, do we need a bill or can you do this by executive order? He said, you need a bill. So what the issue is that the way these joint industrial parks work is one of the parks is in Pennsylvania County. If a company locates in Pennsylvania County, a large company that is all good, so that company is located in Pennsylvania County, they will get a property tax bill from Pennsylvania County. Then what happens is Pennsylvania County will cut a check to the city of Danville for half of the amount of money. Now, all's great until you figure composite index. And when composite index will be figured, the way it is currently today, Pennsylvania County, since that location is in Pennsylvania County, would get hit with all of the loss of because of the large industry that's coming there. So what this bill does, it basically says that, and there's a delayed enactment clause on the bill until 2020. The reason they're doing that is because we're doing composite index now. This will move it to the next part. But basically what the bill does, it says that the composite index will follow where the property tax will go. So we got one location in northern Pennsylvania County that has 5 communities in this site. So
Wonderful bill there. Senator Marsden has given you a great compliment. So it was the first real bill we've heard all day. So I think you're in good shape over here.
And Go Virginia likes this also.
Oh, very good. Is there any questions of the patron on this bill? Anyone here would like to speak for or against the bill? Seeing none, now this bill will have to go to finance. We've got a letter from the chairman asking that you go and make another round on this.
That's fine. Had to go to appropriations also. So
Yes, sir. We operate by motion. Motion to report being made, properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, clerk, open the roll. Close the roll, sir.
13 ayes, 0 nays.
Thank you.
13 nays, 0. 692 reports and is re-referred to finance. Delegate Marshall, always good to see you, sir. Thank you, sir. All right. Delegate Gatitis. Is anybody else here first? Welcome.
I was looking.
Uh-huh. Sir, parliamentary inquiry, yes, sir.
Does that complete the agenda for the day?
That completes the agenda for the whole season. I think we're ready to go home. And the committee shall... Welcome. So you're the new guy too, huh?
I'm one of the many.
Well, congratulations. Welcome to the Senate Committee on Commerce and Labor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is
Members.
there a bill you'd like to discuss with us other than your own?
Actually, no, my primary interest is in my own.
Do you know, let's see, what do we have left? Do you know Todd Pillion?
I see him across
That
the
was-
aisle there,
So you know what he looks like?
sort of.
Do you know what he does for a living?
No, sir?
He's a dentist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wears those skinny suits, that, kind of athletic build suits that I can't get into. I hate that guy. No, I like him a lot. Oh, elf shoes. Yeah, elf shoes. So have you ever talked to him?
I don't believe I have. Not as yet, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, well, he's a real nice guy. Why don't you take his bill? House Bill 1179. Let's see how you do. You got to be able to be nimble.
I'm going to disappoint you in the
on.
performance now. I brought my...
Come on, let's try this.
I brought my shield, I brought my sword. I forgot my magic wand.
All right, 1179. Todd Pillion. It's all of Southwest Virginia is up to you.
Oh,
No,
thank
you
you.
gave her a summary. That's wrong. All right, 1437, House Bill 1437.
Excuse me, just kidding. 1437.
You actually do have a phone call. Do you want to get that? We'll get back to you.
No. I was teasing you. I normally leave it over there, but it's noisy. Okay, so, Mr. Chairman, 1437 has already been through the Senate along with Senator Vogel's help, 37-3, I think, in the Senate. And I can't remember the number of votes in the House. It was not quite unanimous. I will blame some of that on my frosh state. But This bill does not raise an existing tax. It does not impose a new tax. It just corrects an error. Middleburg had changed their charter in 1998 in order to get rid of their vehicle personal property tax. And they did not realize that the Code of Virginia didn't allow their vehicle personal property tax to be lower than their business personal property tax. So they mistakenly collected taxes, and this year they returned $253,000 in taxes for a town of less than 800 people. That was significant, but they wanted to do the right thing. And I hope very much, Mr. Chairman, that we will do the right thing and help them continue to collect their business personal property tax at the same rate that they have been accustomed to do.
Delegate Goditis, how'd you come up with this bill?
This was given me by the Middleburg Town Council.
And Delegate Goditis, which member of the Middleburg Town Council gave you this?
Martha Sims and Bridge Littleton, and I spoke
Did you
to
say
the
Rich
mayor about
Littleton?
it as well.
Who was the second name?
Bridge Littleton. His name is Trowbridge Littleton. It's a wonderful name, Mr. Chairman.
Trowbridge. Excellent. I think he owes me money. All right. And you just decided, hey, I'll take this legislation?
I figured it was my job, sir, and it sounded good to me.
This is pro-tax, you would agree this is pro-tax tax increase legislation, right?
Absolutely not, sir. I do not
But you're
agree with
taxing
that.
the largest incomes of all the land, is that right?
Absolutely not, sir.
Mr. Chairman. go ahead.
Senator McPike.
Line 14 of the bill, after law, comma, what are the next three words?
Right. It says levy a tax, and what it would do.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator McPike. Fiscally responsible Senator McPike. Yes, sir.
So it's, I thought the patron, Mr. Chairman, said it wasn't involving a tax.
Sir, yes, sir.
I'm a
That's
little
what I thought.
confused on this.
Further questioning is permitted on that.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't say it didn't involve a tax. I said it didn't raise an old tax or levy a new tax.
All right.
Okay, now, it looks here that the emergency clause was ripped off of this. Why?
Oh, yes, Mr. Chairman, I did forget to mention that. I believe that the Senate version still has the emergency clause. In our House committee discussion, Mr. Chairman, they had wanted to say goodbye to the emergency clause. My town council people were there, they were present, and they agreed that it was okay with them to remove it.
Okay. Further question of the patron in her first bill. Is this your first bill?
First bill here, sir.
Ooh. Uh-oh, here it comes, the shark, Senator Favola.
Well, you know, I'm kind and gentle, and I think we have exhausted this good patron's patience. And I believe that this is just a technicality, so I'm going to move that we report the bill.
Party pooper.
Mr. Chairman, would you thank the good senator for me?
No, I will not. You are out of order. Can you tell me what tangible means in the bill? Tangible.
Something touchable, sir.
Like, what is tangible personal property to the people of Middleburg? So tangible personal property to the people of Franklin County may be completely different. Might be an old mitt, you know.
Actually, tangible is defined in the code.
Yeah,
Mr.
but I want to
Chairman,
know
for purposes
what
of
tangible
taxes.
property do they have in Middleburg? Isn't it a lot different?
Mr.
Like a
Chairman.
Porsche?
It's your hunting horse.
A horse. There you go. What would your answer be there?
Well, I was going to ask you, Mr. Chairman, if you would thank the good senator for me yet again.
Somebody's playing favorites over there. We do not tolerate that. Yes, Senator
Ladies
DeStefano.
have to stick
I
together.
have one quick question before I second the motion. And
Yes.
make it two. So on line 16, what's the seventh word? And now if I was dyslexic, what would that word be?
Mr. Chairman, the word represents the tax that the people have been happily and contentedly paying. And
now,
they will
if I
continue
may.
to happily and contentedly pay
Delegate Goditis.
at the same
You've been
exact
asked-
rate, Mr. Chairman.
You've been asked a direct question. What is that
The seventh word.
on the 16th line of your bill.
And if you were
And
dyslexic.
how do you read, when you
what
read
would
it
that
backwards,
word
what?
If I was dyslexic, I might not be able to count to 7, Mr. Chairman.
She's not willing to.
Mr. Chairman, my motion is pending.
Mr. Chairman, before I second this, on the seventh word on line 16,
Mr. Chairman, the 7th word on line 16 appears to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, on.
and if we reverse those two letters, what would that be, Mr. Chairman?
What would that be?
I'm not going to refer to dyslexia again. It seems disrespectful, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, now, come on. It's no, isn't it?
And Mr. Chairman, if that's the case, what would the sixth word be in line 16?
No motor vehicle tax.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, I figured it out. It would then say tax no motor vehicles, which is exactly what Middleburg is doing.
I see.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Well played, Delegate.
Mr. Chairman, I second the motion.
I think she's earned a vote.
We'll see about that. All right, motion being probably made and supported by a second. Is there any discussion on this tax bill? And hold on, wait a minute, I gotta get my, and actually, this motion to report it also has to be re-referred to finance. Ooh, you're not done yet.
Does it?
Does it?
I have a letter here asking that it be re-referred to finance. Is that right, gentlemen? Ladies and gentlemen down below?
It's a letter signed.
Yes, right here. Here it is. 1437 says, all right, so that's what I have. So the proper motion, do you want to withdraw that motion and your second?
I
and
move
let's
to report and re-refer to finance.
Motion is to report and re-refer to finance.
It's not re-refer. It's never been referred to.
It's refer, yeah.
No, referred is when you
It's
don't
re-
hear it.
it's-
When you report it, then you re-refer it to
is
another
what I
committee.
thought,
You
yeah.
used to be chairman. You have to, if you report, you re-refer.
I was correct in
Can
my.
you check on that for us? We just don't know. Should we refer
I
yours?
will be happy
Mr.
to,
Chairman.
Or
Mr.
report
Chairman, and
re-refer.
I'm quite sure the
Second
result will be
to-
in my favor.
Report and re-refer to finance, Mr. Chairman.
Report and re-refer to finance.
And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to call the pending question as well.
Is there a second? Actually,
Second.
all right. All in favor signify by saying aye, or actually signify by the vote. Please open the roll. Ooh. Oh. Oh, it's getting better. Oh. And close the roll.
10 ayes, 3 nays.
10 ayes, 3 nays. Your bill is reported and referred to finance.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
Mr. Chairman and
Thank you
members.
for putting up with us with a little bit of fun. We wanted to welcome you to the Senate, and we're happy you're here. It's nice to see you.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to
Good
be
luck
here.
with your bill.
I think he's right. Doesn't matter. It's like after one committee hears it, then it's re-referred. I don't know. That's what they've been saying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Delegate Pillion had a bill, House Bill 1179. Delegate Pillion has notified this committee just recently that he would like that bill conformed to a similar bill, but not identical bill, by Senator Ben Chafin. That Senate bill was Senate Bill 448. And that was voted out of this committee 13-0. Is there a motion to conform? This motion being probably made, the bill be conformed. Is there a second? Second being made. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Bill is conformed. Bill is before us. Motion to report as conformed and re-refer to finance. Says a second. Motion and a second being properly made. All in favor, please say aye. Or no, wait. Open the roll. Sure. Sorry, guys. Well, I like the old method of ayes and nays. Close the roll.
9 ayes, 0 nays.
9 ayes, 0 nays. Bill is reported re-referred to finance. Probably so. All right, where's that leave us, kids? We done? Lannis is done. Goditis is done. Bill and Austin are done. Ladies and gentlemen, that finishes the largest docket ever on record of local government. Thank you all for coming and being here and sticking through it with us. And with that, we will see you next week, and the committee shall rise.